they have to come back and make a beautiful streak in order to just scave off the edge of defeat.
The bans coming in here. Again, we're seeing an Ornn, which is surprising. Again, it seems like Ornn has high priority in this tournament. Very strong.
Ornn definitely being played quite a lot in the professional scene, especially from the LEC. We've seen him being played mid lane of all positions. Not exactly the greatest at pushing in waves extremely quick early, but once he gets a couple items, he's still that that we all know and hate that becomes an absolute tank.
And Rengar and Lee Sin coming through as our third bans of the game. Rengar and the Graves, I guess, obviously directed at Rengu, who does play quite a bit of Rengar.
You don't say.
His name. Picking up the Misfortune as the first pick. Very strong early game and mid game teamfight champion. Very good for wombo combo-esque comps.
Yeah, with the bullet time in team fights, you have to CC her or just blow her up, otherwise she will shred your team down.
What we're looking for on the blue side here is probably some setup for the MF, as kind of like Rumble, she does require a little bit of setup from her team to get the most out of her bullet time. Whereas the red side here, picking up Jinx and Pyke, a weird combo for lane. Pyke pretty strong in lane, but Jinx kind of just wanting to scale out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Pyke, if he does land the Bone Skewer into the stun, Jinx can get quite easy Flame Chompers off to constantly layer that CC, making it easier for the jungler to gank. But as you said, Jinx wanting to scale, Pyke does help with that extra gold from the Year Cut passive. But in the end, they do have to play more around that bot side and get that Jinx ahead if they want to win these team fights set right now.
Blue side quickly locking in that Kha'Zix and then hovering Janna. Two champions that both these players, All-Pro and Rengu, are very comfortable on. Janna specifically for All-Pro. And Hecarim being locked in for, I can only assume, on Timmy? Antimi? Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. And it's a pretty strong pick. It gives some good front line for the red side.
Yeah, definitely looking at the composition that they have based off these three picks for the red side. They're definitely looking to isolate a target and pick them off, or look for that hard dive onto the backline with Hecarim Pyke.
I'm not too sure. I'm a huge fan of the synergy between Janna and MF, as Janna kind of just pushes... actually, I don't mind it.
Yeah, with that windshield coming in, granting that bonus AD, it will start to stack up with the double up off of MF, especially if she gets that last hit to get the guaranteed crit on the next bounce.
Another Maokai ban coming in. I'm assuming we're seeing that more because of those Sunfire buffs, which does give Maokai a lot more damage than what he had before, just off the Bomby Cinder buff.
Yeah, Maokai also just being one of those extremely annoying top laners, his ultimate being one of the hardest to dodge in the game. You have to have someone face tank it for you, and if you don't, then if you're a squishy target, you're going down.
We have a Syndra ban coming in. Makes a little bit of sense considering that champion is so blind pickable, and it takes away a little bit of safety from the blue team. Vladimir, the next ban, very good at scaling. They kind of already have a lot of late game insurance on the red side though, with the Jinx, as long as she plays well in team fights.
Yeah, they're gonna have to start drafting more towards that early and mid game, trying to sort of negate that lull where Jinx isn't exactly the strongest.
Orianna being locked in, very easy to blind pick mid laner. Has that shockwave obviously, which gives a lot of team fight insurance. Both teams drafting a little bit of team fight, but definitely the red side drafting more team fight with the Ori, Pyke, and Hecarim.
Yeah,
all of them huge.
Yeah, if you give that command protect to the Hecarim and then use the command shockwave, that could be easily a 3 to 5 man ultimate each time, setting up the X marks the spot.
Sion being locked in, probably more for the Soul Furnace to stack that health and become that huge front line that everyone knows and loves.
Yeah, Sion hard engaged there, so they won't have any issue with that. But now we need to see what mid lane they pick up here.
I was going to say I wouldn't mind something with a little bit of CC just for the MF to set up with, and Vigar doing just that with the cage. The cage to set up big areas where the enemy can't move or is stuck inside.
Yeah, the baby cage with the bullet time will be quite a deciding factor, and Jack's locked in again.
I'm curious to see if he's going to go the Trinity Force Black Cleaver build again. We did look into that a little bit in the off time. It does seem that there is a build going around with Trinity Force and Cleaver. However, it only seems to be like doing very well in certain matchups where Jax can snowball early and then look to snowball the game from there. It's definitely a build, not one I would have gone last game, just because he wasn't ahead and he didn't have the resources allocated to him to be able to run through the game on his own with that build. Considering, like we said before, you are wasting 1,250 gold. That is a huge stat to like throw away once, unless you have a lead.
Yeah, and in this matchup, it won't exactly be the most beneficial. You can't really kill a Scion early. And if you do, the Scion clearly did something wrong.
Actually, I don't mind the Jackson to Scion matchup. Jax can always Q into the Scion, making it very hard for the Scion to land Qs. I think this is a very good matchup for the Jackson. I don't mind the pick here, but again, they drafted quite well for Teamfight, and I'm excited to see what they want to do with that.
Yeah, their Teamfight is definitely a lot stronger than they had last game. Last game was a little rough for them because they didn't have anything to follow up with the Olaf.
The thing that we should be looking towards this game is how quickly the Vigar can scale, as well as how much the blue side can shut down that Jinx from getting to her late game phase, how much they can shut down that Jax. I almost feel like the red side is a ticking time bomb for when they get going. It's definitely on blue side to make the plays happen early on, and then they definitely have a stronger early game comp. So I want to see the blue side pushing towards those objectives such as Dragon and Rift Herald.
Yeah, definitely. If Jinx gets ahead for the red side, it'll be quite difficult to shut her down, especially with that extended range using the rockets. But we will have to see how the Scion does with the engages, Kha'Zix with the pickoffs, and Vigar with that baby cage trying to zone people around.
For sure. We should be looking towards that bot lane priority for the blue side, and maybe even top lane priority for the red side. Probably looking to get this Jax ahead, and again, you can use him as a split push tool, or the Hecarim has a lot of lanes to go to. Personally, I'd probably avoid the bot lane though, as they do not have the stronger 3v3 into that. I definitely do think the top lane for red side is a lot stronger in the 2v2 between Scion and Kha'Zix and Hecarim and Jax. Hecarim and Jax tend to have a better time into those kinds of champions, especially if they're fighting as a 2v2. Kha'Zix can't get the isolate damage.
Yeah, Jax does have that fighting pressure against Scion, but Scion does have a slight wave clear advantage with his QE combo.
And yeah, we're just waiting to get into game. Just talking about the red side team fight once again. Hecarim, able to engage with command defense from Orianna into the shockwave, can create a huge opening for Jax, for Jinx, and for Pyke to clean up those team fights. I think red team should definitely be looking to group in the later stages of the game, assuming they're not too far behind, and really force their hand at those big objectives like Dragon Soul and Baron to close out their games. While it seems like the blue side should be looking to go for picks and get that early game objective control and early game tempo going their way.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the laning exactly plays out, because if Jinx does get behind the MF, it is quite hard to finish out that laning phase without getting into more of a deficit.
For sure. And as we load onto the Rift, we're going to see exactly where these teams are going to go at the start of the game. Remember, this is Red side's possible last game if they are not able to close this one out. Going up against a team who has yet to play today, but we couldn't fit into the major seeding.
I think you're going to have to change the scene.
Oh, right.
Now we can see the whole rift.
My apologies on that one. Quickly forgot to swap that scene over. But like we were saying, it seems like red side is going for an early invade onto the bot lane Tribush. MF going to spot that out, and Pyke is going to go for a hook. She is hooked in.
Misses the zap, but that will be first blood to the Orianna.
And I really wish the MF would have just flashed right away. Like, she blew it anyway, so...
One lesson taught to me from watching Sneaky streams: if you're blue side, that Tribush is not yours, it is the enemy's. You should just ward that and run.
For sure. And I also wouldn't have mind seeing the MF start W just to get away from that as well. But it seems like it's going to die. The 400 gold is going to go over to... sorry. How do we get the scoreboard up?
O and then U to get rid of that replay bar.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
and it looks like the kill is going to go over to Orianna as well, which is pretty big for the red team.
Yeah, if you're in GG Brim's shoes, you shouldn't have flashed there. You were going to die regardless. Why blow a huge cooldown like that at the expense of nothing being gained?
Either blow it sooner to dodge the hook or just accept fate, I guess.
Yeah, if you feel like you're going to die, don't waste your flash like that. That is such a huge cooldown that now you are exposed to the Hecarim rushing down your lane.
Hecarim should be looking towards the bot side now, and like we were saying before, that Jack's really putting the pressure on that Scion, as he's not really able to trade into the Jax until he stacks up his Soul Furnace, as he's not as tanky as the other tanks early on because he revs up his health so far.
And here we see the detriment of burning that flash early. Burns the heal, still goes down, and Quantic Theory getting out with a sliver of health.
And just as you said, the MF blowing flash early and dying, really setting her behind. She's now 0-2 into a matchup with Pyke, letting the Jinx scale harder than, well, anyone would actually want for the blue side.
Yeah, and that gives them such a huge advantage there in the bot lane. Double the CS, a huge amount of gold in the pocket of Jinx already. Going to get that BF sword early and just start scaling even earlier than what should be happening.
I think that red team getting ahead here is huge for them, as they're the team fight comp that want to be grouped together, that want a death ball, that want to get to that late game phase, whereas blue side just kind of just wanted to use their momentum early on with their stronger champion picks, at least in the jungle and the bot lane, to maybe get some momentum to that late game and start working on their pick comp. And the Scuttle Crab fight going down right now.
Yeah, Orianna taking a little bit of damage there. Vigar getting a couple stacks. Scuttle still goes over to team fail support.
And that's just what happens when you give over a kill early on to that mid laner who has priority now for almost the rest of the game, just because, well, you gave her a kill early on.
Yeah, huge mistake by GG Brim. We'll have to see how he comes back from this. Flash forced out of Shinkuken.
Flash forced out of the mid lane, and the fight's going to continue with Hecarim running down the Vigar and continuing to run down the Kha'Zix overall. Orianna looking to get away from this Scion, who is charging his full Q. Got a knock up.
Hecarim, though, with the full Conqueror stacks, chasing down this Kha'Zix, does take him down. 3 kills for Antimi.
Very strong. The Hecarim cleaning up there and should have a huge advantage. Blue team seemed almost seemingly falling apart. Almost seems like a completely different team than what we saw last game.
Yeah, red team clearly just reset themselves, rethought, and just came back with an absolute dominant game plan for this game.
They're snowballing into the late game that they want, and their late game, like we keep saying, is a lot stronger than what the blue team has to offer. And I'd like to see them force this into other objectives, such as Dragon now with their bot lane and their mid lane priority, as well as Jax getting an advantage because that Scion decided to TP to the mid lane.
Yeah, Jinx off of the back did get a Negatron cloak. Or, sorry, is that Negatron cloak?
That is a Cloak of Agility.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the 20% crit chance could come in handy, but I don't feel it's as handy as something like a pickaxe giving you that guaranteed 25 AD per auto.
I would 100% agree with you. I would definitely like to see the pickaxe, which is a lot more consistent damage. And I'd also like to see them abuse this MF a little bit more while she doesn't have flash for the next, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Yeah, Pyke should be looking to throw out those bone skewers, even if they don't connect or he doesn't even fully throw them. Just the pressure alone will be enough to back them off so they can push this wave and try getting it to reset.
The CS differential is almost non-existent in the bot lane, which I'm actually quite surprised about considering they're able to crash a wave onto the MF. The MF is farming very well, or vice versa. No, she's farming very well, considering comparatively to the rest of the game. Small CS advantages here and there for top and mid, nothing major. And obviously those 3 kills on the Hecarim are huge for team fights. Has a full Sheen already. That's going to do some huge burst damage.
Yeah, definitely. Having those boots already, he's going to be looking to start pressuring waves and lanes a lot harder than he could have without that triple kill.
For sure. And first dragon actually went over to the red side already. Definitely excited to see how they can transfer that, hopefully into a Rift Herald, since they are so far ahead. A 2,500 gold lead already for the red side here.
Yeah, and here we see the bot lane for red side. Not up very much CS, but up quite a bit of gold due to that early mistake from the MF, but MF still staying in this game, trying to farm it out and get to her items.
For sure. And we see Kha'Zix is hovering topside for that Scuttle Crab, but Jax just isn't having it at all. He's going to take that Scuttle Crab from Rengu, and Rengu is forced to back out. Still not 6 for either of the junglers, but I'd assume that the Hecarim is getting very close to 6.
Yeah, just based off the experience discrepancy from that triple kill, Hecarim should only be about a camp or 2 away from level 6. Will look to make a huge impact, probably towards that top side to secure that Herald.
And now we're seeing the huge invade from the red side because they're so far ahead on the blue team that they can kind of just do whatever they want. And like we were just saying, the Hecarim hitting level 6, and now he can just pillage the entire blue side jungle.
Yeah, Kha'Zix has no way to answer this. Veigar does rotate down. In goes the Shadow Onslaught.
Huge Shadow Onslaught followed by Shockwave into a 2-man ultimate, easily able to clean up. And
John looking to go in, but Antony healing up off of the Conqueror. GG Brim does get the shutdown, though.
That is a 3-for-1, but we have to remember that there was a bounty on the Hecarim giving 300 gold over, so it's more like a 3-for-2. Still positive, especially because the Hecarim was able to steal the red buff and the chickens from Rengu.
Yeah, and that Orianna is becoming massive now. Almost at that lost chapter, 3-0-4, 300 bounty shutdown. It's going to be quite difficult to deal with her.
And the gold advantage raising to nearly 4,000, 1,500 gold higher than it was about 2 minutes ago. That's still pretty big for the red team, snowballing their lead quite well. I'd like to see them go into the Rift Herald soon and try to force their play on that.
Yeah, red side definitely has a huge advantage in terms of jungle difference right now. Hecarim's just constantly able to invade Kha'Zix, who just now hits level 6 and gets his first evolve. A full level difference there.
For sure. And we're actually looking at a mid lane gank here. The flash blown very early. That's what I actually don't mind that at all, because he isn't able to get insect by the Hecarim E.
And Sion ultimate coming in, Rengu coming in with that Void Assault, looking to take down the Jax. Does do so. Sion burning flash for nothing.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Jax go in on that Sion as he's not getting away. Very good cleanup by the Hecarim. I don't mind that at all.
Orianna there just for a little bit of moral support.
Very true. Rengu was able to pick himself up a kill, though. That's actually in the favor of blue side, considering they did trade 1-for-1, and like we were saying, the team that's behind often likes to trade even. And
here we go. Antony diving onto Rengu, but Rengu dodges away with the leap.
And TP teleport is actually double TP is coming in on the top side. I don't think anything's going to come of it, but it was pulled.
Yeah, not a huge advantage in the top lane in terms of CS, only a 10 differential. But the gold advantage does look to be quite more into the favor of the red side. Shockwave coming in, solo kill from Shinkuken onto Reform Sheik.
That is pretty big. That just means that like the Vigar has to play so much safer in lane now because he can't step up, or else he might get one shot like he just did. And I think that's a gross underestimation of what the Orianna can pull for damage, especially with the command Shockwave.
Yeah, and it's only going to get rougher now. They didn't have the Sorcerer's Shoes before, but now they do.
Jax is in a very good spot in his top wave, able to shove a huge wave into tower and kind of just roam and maybe get some deep vision, find out where that Kha'Zix is so he doesn't get ganked, so he doesn't die again like he did. But again, I'm not too angry about his death there. He was able to push in and he's kept pressure on his top side all game.
Yeah, the one thing I would like to see the most right now is some deep vision from the red side into the jungle, but Rengu does take down Joa.
And we are seeing a full engage from the blue side and a counter engage from the Hecarim, who's so strong that they have to retreat almost immediately. And the Pike ult whiffing very hard. Not sure where he was trying to aim that, but we'll just assume that was a misclick. And blue side's going to get out scot-free.
Yeah, a 1-for-0 there with that kill going towards Rengu will help him get towards his lethality so he can try being that typical Kha'Zix you always see. But at this point, he has to deal with Antimi on this Hecarim.
That being said, blue team did win the last fight, but they are going to be losing a full wave, some tower plating, and possibly Dragon on top of that. Rift Herald still hasn't been taken. I wouldn't mind seeing Rengu going up to trade that Rift Herald for the Dragon and maybe see if he can get some extra priority for his laners in the next 2 minutes before the platings fall.
And yeah, we see there an early rotation from the bot lane of red side to that mid, trying to get that shoved in, keep Vigar there, ensuring that they can get the Dragon.
Quick trade on the top lane here. Nothing really too major going down. Both top laners not really in a state where they can die to each other.
Yeah, with that Bramble Vest coming in from Sion makes it so Jax has a little bit harder of a time dealing damage to himself with those autos. But in the end, Jax is close enough to his Trinity Force. I don't think it really will matter.
Another side note that I want to bring up, actually, is that Bomby Cinder did get a rework on this patch where it gives any champion with CC higher wave clear and slightly higher damage. So Sion Qs actually instantly clear the backline minions, which is pretty big for the champion just in landing phase.
Yeah, it'll help him get those waves pushing, help him keep up and farm, get those Soul Furnace stacks. But as we see from the bot lane here, both of them getting their first items, Essence Reaver for the Misfortune, Infinity Edge for the Jinx. And Pike going in forces Janna to flash.
And we're just kind of seeing standard lanes right now. Janna blowing her flash, it's pretty big, but considering her ultimate's coming up soon, I don't think it's too big of a concern just yet. Janna's a very elusive champion that doesn't normally need to blow flash for anything. I guess unless she gets hooked. Sion taking some quick plating. That's actually the first plating that they've taken all game, which is quite unfortunate for the blue side, especially because 5 tower platings have gone down for the red side.
And here we see a dive coming in on the bottom side from red, forces the Janna ultimate, doesn't exactly get a whole lot. Quantic does get that reset.
And I guess that's where they abused the Janna having no flash. MF was able to get away, but even the second that Janna ult was used, it was cancelled and she just died. First tower going down bot lane, 5 plates being taken for the red side and 1 being taken for the blue side.
Yeah, and here we see Rengu going in with the Void Assault onto the Jax. Does use the Grandmaster Might to get away. But Rengu does flash after him. Jax forced to flash. Orianna starting to rotate up, and they do get out.
They do get out. Rengu does blow his flash, so does the Jax, which is more valuable for the Jax to not have. It's still quite unfortunate that Rengu does pull his flash without getting a kill, but it definitely could have been worse.
Yeah, and here we see Quantic rotating up to that red buff, catching out Rengu, forcing him to back out of his own jungle.
Very
Then we
big
see the
shockwave.
shockwave. And the auto comes through. Double kill for the Orianna.
This Orianna is playing insane with her shockwaves.
Yeah, 7-0 and 500 shutdown.
And I think these team fights are going to come down to if blue team can somehow manage to get a pick before the fight starts. And I'm curious to see how they're going to attempt to get back in this game, which is a 5.5 thousand gold advantage for the red side at 15 minutes.
Yeah, that is a huge chunk of change in their pockets. Their Orianna absolutely farther ahead of the Vigar than you would ever think possible. Almost done that Zhonya's already with the Seeker's Armguard and the Fiendish Codex.
The Vigar has been able to manage 105 AP stacks so far. That's not too bad for the game, but he's dying to Orianna, and
Need to see at least 4 more times that stacks just to ensure that he can start one-shotting people at this rate. But Scion Flash is forced out by the Shockwave.
And I actually think that could have been played slightly better with just the Jinx finishing off that tower to get her passive of Get Excited, which in recent patches came down quite... the passive changed to when she takes objectives such as tower and epic monsters. She gets excited.
Yeah, and if she happens to get to that 2.5 attack speed cap, that Get Excited will basically be a miniature lethal tempo.
Which she also has.
Yeah, so double that damage up, and she'll be hitting for, what is that, like 7.5 autos per second?
A huge menace in team fights, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Also, a side note to that was Hecarim grossly overextended into the blue side jungle and died much as the same way as that Vigar just overextended and died. A lot of overextensions this game.
Yeah, that mid tower was gone. I don't know why you were sitting there, bud. You should have just left. Jack's going in for the 1v2. Does get the stun onto Janna. Pyke coming in with the dive. Misses the bone skewer, which would have resulted in another kill, but still a good pickup there.
Good 600 gold pickup, especially with with the extra cut to the Jacks. And red team's easily able to pick up Dragon and get themselves to Soul Point, which will be the Ocean Soul. Ocean Soul gives health regen on dealing damage to enemy champions.
And Hecarim blocking the unstoppable onslaught there. That was quite well positioned there by Antony, but Rengu going in on the back, and Jinx forced to use both sums. Does take down Rengu, but the Scion passive still running amok.
Good 2-for-1 there onto the Scion and Kha'Zix. Good block from the ultimate as well.
Yeah, right now it's not looking too pretty for the side of No Mental Boom.
Definitely could have played a much cleaner early game. With an advantage like 8.6k gold for the red team. It's getting extremely hard for blue team to come back into this game. Not impossible, but very hard.
Yeah, that Orianna sitting on 2 items now. She's extremely safe. And Pyke going for that deep vision. Kha'Zix can't even farm his own jungle. Vigar forced to flash and use the slow.
This Orianna seems to be sitting in the right bushes at the right time to blow the summoners so that next time when she tries to make that exact same play, the Vigar is just dead.
Yeah, Vigar having no flash is definitely a huge issue. He does have the stopwatch, however, but in this patch, it was a nerfed purchase. It's 650 gold on its own now.
Which is a 50 gold buff. It's not too extreme, but I definitely like the fact that it is a little bit more expensive, so it's a little bit more of a commitment to get.
Yeah, we will have to see how this Vigar transitions into fights. John throwing the tornado backwards. A little bit of a panic nado there.
For sure. And Rift Herald being pop top. Decent use of the Rift Herald, honestly. They're going to be able to push in tier 2 and possibly tier 3.
They don't get much of a push off of that. They do force the shockwave out mid. However, they did get quite a lot of damage in on that top tower.
Sion's going in with his ultimate. Isn't able to connect.
Orianna with the with the Zhonya's. Sion with the double kill.
Done with a double kill and a good cleanup starting to have. Bullet time comes down, and Jax and the Pyke are forced to retreat. Blue team running it down mid lane and showing us that they aren't out of this game just yet.
No, that was a really good cleanup there from the blue side, trying to just claw their way back into this game.
And it looks like they're trying to force a Baron here. This could be a huge play, which would give them a huge amount of income back on, into their pockets.
Yeah, it'll definitely be beneficial for them. If the red side does get it, that Jax can be quite an issue in the side lane, even Orianna, with them having teleport.
Teleport comes through for the red team. Orianna coming in, command shockwave ready to go. Jax is jumping in, two-man shockwave almost instantly deletes the MF.
Does get taken down by the Baron spit, and Hecarim comes in for janitorial duty, but it gets taken down.
Unable to clean up there, and blue team gets away by the grit of their teeth. Orianna forced to go back to mid lane and clear waves. They did stop the Baron, but at what cost? The gold lead has shrunk by almost 2,000 gold.
Yeah, the Veigar is starting to stack up. He will have quite a bit more damage now. Having that level 2 ultimate will be quite a differential.
And on top of that, he is running that Glacial Augment build that we see so much nowadays, where it's super hard to get away from that Veigar. His cage is almost guaranteed to land if you're hit by one of his Glacial Augment items.
Yeah, it'll either be you stun and die, or you flash and die again later.
Much so the same with the Orianna that we've been seeing all game, running rampant through Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, Shin's been playing an absolute beautiful Orianna, always hitting those key shockwaves. But now it's a matter of, do they keep themselves level-headed enough and not get into their own head to keep this lead?
I think what we're looking for right now is just for red side to just figure out a way to close up the game, keep it smooth, find that pick that they always look for, and get that good Orianna ultimate.
Yeah, right now they have to play around that unstoppable onslaught to ensure that Sion can't get into their backline and cause too much havoc, but Rangu does go down.
Hecarim, relentless pursuit, jumping into the fight, hitting Rangu, the shockwave finishing off Sion, and All Pro is forced to run away. The Sion corpse is holding up, and blue side is forced to retreat from the dragon. Ocean Soul seems to be going over to the red side.
Yeah, there's no way they can contest this without Rangu the dragon just spawning now. No vision over the pit. The only chance they really have is if MF bullet times and Veigar goes in, but Veigar gets jumped on. Bullet time does come in little too late.
Cloud Soul does go over to the red team, and blue team is again forced to retreat. Jax looking for a little bit more, but is not going to find anything.
Yeah, now it's going to be a lot harder for Rangu and Sheik to start getting those one-shots. Because of that Ocean Soul, they will constantly be healing up.
With that Ocean Soul in mind, I wouldn't mind seeing blue team going for things like Executioners and any of that healing reduction, considering how much healing that Ocean Dragon is going to give them in team fights.
Yeah, we will have to see. The only way that they can really come back right now is just farm it out and scale.
Scaling is a little bit dangerous versus an Orianna, Jax, and Jinx, but I guess we'll see what they can do. I wouldn't mind them looking for some picks, death bushing a couple times, seeing what they can do. They kind of have to play quite reactive to how red team wants to play this out.
Yeah, right now the ball is in Fail Support's court. We have to see how they do it. They are attempting a Baron here.
Red is forcing Baron. Blue's team is out of position slightly with MF mid and Sion bot, but Sion is TPing in. No one has gone down just yet, and blue team seems like they want to contest this, obviously. Shockwave not hitting anything, and Sion in the middle of the fight. Pyke missing his ultimate onto a stopwatch enemy. Sion going down and unable to clean up the Jax. Dead corpse looking to go after the Orianna, but isn't able to collect anything. That is a 2 for 0 on the red side.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going back to the Baron.
Back on the Baron, and they burn it quite quickly with that Jinx. Blue team again looking to contest. I don't know if there's much they can do. They can try to stall it, I guess, but bullet time coming down isn't really able to connect with anything, and they're still on the Baron. Red team is getting quite low, and the pick onto Rangu.
Yeah, that will secure the Baron right there. There's no hope for them to steal it
For sure, and blue team again on the retreat. A flash is forced out for a shockwave, which seems to be on such a short cooldown.
Yeah, with all that CDR Orianna has, that's 30% CDR.
That is 11,000 gold in favor of the red team. And we're also forgetting about that Cloud Drake going down onto the Orianna as well.
Yeah, that ultimate is on such a short cooldown. We saw it just used, and it's already almost up again.
And red team pillaging the enemy jungle right now.
Yeah, it's not safe for Rangu to farm at all. He's basically just getting choked out of any resources that he could get.
Red team resetting here with a 10,000 gold lead. Just short up a little bit from probably the waves crashing into towers. Just looking to clear vision. What the red team should be doing right now is setting up vision on either side lane, deep vision, and trying to either go for picks like they have been doing very well this game, or trying to siege down a tower, which they could probably do at the same time. But there just seems to be very happy and content with just collecting their jungle and then moving out slowly once they're all ready to go.
Yeah, they're just farming it out. Jinx at 235 farm, 3.5 items in, has that QSS, so Vigar, you're not really a problem anymore. But we'll have to see, can Sion do the big engage so they can start getting their combo off? Because if they cannot get that early enough, they're just going to get choked out.
At this point, it's all about how long can you stall out the Baron for the blue team here. Because if they lose a fight, they're going to lose so much more than what they would have lost if they just waited out the Baron. So I'm curious to see how long they can stall before red team decides to pull the trigger on something, which I really think they can. Jax is pushing the bot wave, and the rest of the red team's pushing top wave. They seem to be giving up top wave, though.
Yeah, all the top pressure going to Team Fail support. No Mental Bloom, forced to turtle into their own base right now. Sion retreating, Jax still pushing in that bottom side.
I feel like the blue team is still in a redeemable spot as long as they're able to keep their Nexus towers alive and still able to turtle and just keep farming it out, because Sion's still getting tankier. The Vigar is still getting more AP. That MF is still going to deal so much damage in team fights. It's just a matter of getting to that point now.
Yeah, and this bottom tower sure to fall. Jax just gonna take it. Sion can't exactly say no, no, no.
And this is definitely a different game than what we saw last game.
Yeah, Team Fail support definitely brought their big boy pants for this game.
I'm not really too sure what the blue team can do right now. They're kind of stuck in their own base. They're denied so many resources because they don't have access to their jungle, and they don't have access to this Elder Dragon coming up here in the next minute. I'm very curious to see how the blue team's going to react to when red goes for that game-deciding objective, in my opinion.
Yeah, Kha'Zix leaping in there, though. Very risky. Does have the shield, though. But Jax does get taken down by the bullet time.
Very good engage by Rangu there to clean up a kill onto the Jax. It does open up their mid lane, but I don't think that's as big as a problem because now they can't just force an Elder Dragon. And another fight going down mid with Vigar picking up a quick kill with his R.
Yeah, that Primordial Burst does way too much damage when you're low health, so you really got to be careful for that.
For sure. It seems like red side is just setting up vision control, hopefully. Hopefully they're not attempting the Elder Dragon too quickly here. Vigar and Janna coming to contest right away, followed by the Sion.
Yeah, they can't exactly start it right now, but they can't relieve all the pressure. They have to try doing something. They have to delay them for at least 15 seconds for Orianna to spawn and TP in.
For sure. Blue team is making a very hard attempt at this dragon, and it seems to be they're peeling out because of that Jax TP, and Kha'Zix is still stuck in the pit, though. Pike goes in, and his ultimate gets flashed. The Orianna TP is finally coming in, and blue side is very low, and I'd like to see how they're going to play out the rest of this fight. Shockwave
Huge Shockwave. And now we just get to see cleanup duty.
That was a two-man Shockwave with the Unstoppable of the Sion, but that's forcing all of their ultimates out, and Sion is going down. The Elder Dragon was picked up, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final rundown of the game.
Yeah, we got 30 seconds on Kha'Zix and Vigar. This could very well be the push. Jinx has 3 items, insane wave clear, high damage, high DPS. So this could very well be the game. They have so much damage on the side of Team Fail support. These towers don't really stand a chance.
Team Fail support playing hugely different than how they played last game. They actually showed up with like a team comp that they could run in team fights, and they absolutely demolished. They got their Jinx ahead. They got their win conditions ahead. They got their Orianna ahead. Orianna playing very, very well. And Kha'Zix is coming back up and just going to one-shot that Jinx.
Yeah, that was a little BM there.
I don't think I guess they didn't escort their wave enough there, so they aren't actually able to finish off the game just yet. They still have the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, they lose a couple of them there, but in the end, they still do have those 3. I mean, it's not as huge as having it on a Jinx or an Orianna, but it still is quite big having it on something like that Jax.
Blue is holding on to Hope, but Hope is dwindling thin as they don't have an inhibitor. The Elder Dragon has been taken, and they're down a Nexus Tower.
Yeah, Baron going to be spawning here soon. We'll have to see how they try to react to this fight. They need to get that to try and at least dwindle the pressure.
For sure. And it seems like the blue team is able to take a little bit of control of their own jungle. I wouldn't have mind having them sweep out their jungle before going through, but they need that Baron control right now.
Yeah, they need to start getting this vision pressure. They need to try getting a pick. That's the only way they can secure that Baron is if they take out Antony on that Hecarim.
The Elder buff should almost be done. It doesn't last nearly as long as the Baron buff, so I wouldn't mind having them wait that out before they go for anything crazy such as Baron. Whereas on the red team, the Orianna's kind of out of position, and so is the Jax, so they can't really force a Baron just yet, but I wouldn't have mind seeing that. Yeah, and they actually are going to force a Baron.
Yeah, Jax is split pushing bot lane, trying to bring that pressure, but he doesn't have teleport if Sion happens to decide to go in for this 4v5 fight.
I definitely think the Sion should be TPing here and just full engaging. This is a 4v5 fight that red team can't respond to, and the only thing they have to worry about is Jax. Bullet time coming through. That's a huge bullet time, almost completely melting the Orianna, and Hecarim is also going to go down. Pyke running away, but I think his time is nearly up. He didn't get knocked up, but yep, there it goes. Kha'Zix is able to get the slow, and he's just going to go down. Jax on the bottom side, however, is cleaning up that inhib.
He does take them off of that Baron, though, so we will have to see, will he get out? He does walk just into the stun. Procs Asterix jumps onto the MF, almost taking him down.
Jack's so strong at this point. I'm surprised he honestly didn't just one-shot that MF there, but I guess she did get enough peel to survive that. Blue team able to do quite well in regrouping, and they're still down 10k gold, but 10k gold this late into the game isn't nearly as important as it was like 15 minutes ago. And it's an important factor that red team hasn't been able to extend their lead any farther. And that's what they have to do if they want any hope of winning this game. Blue team starts up the Baron.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. Hecarim is up. He's charging down towards that Baron. Can he go for the Shadow Onslaught steal?
Seems like blue team is just going to secure the dragon and see if they can get out. Hecarim is engaging. The shockwave came down but didn't hit anyone. Sion is re-engaging. Jinx uses QSS to run away. The fight is cleaned up by the Pyke. Just insane. Pyke absolutely decimating that team fight, and Jinx is able to clean up the Sion afterwards.
Yeah, Scumbag Jinx taking the Quadra. Can't really get the Penta now, which is it's a feels bad, man, especially when you're playing a support and you're so close to it. But this very well be the end of the game.
A little bit delayed, but I definitely think a well-deserved win after their in extreme improvements from last game, like we were saying. Good game to clean out, and that's feels good if you're red team.
Yeah, Team Fail support definitely cleaned up their act from last game. Came in with a game plan, executed it really well, and at the end of the day, they're still holding on for the chance to win.
And just looking at damage charts real quick, we were talking about it prior, but getting that Jinx and Orianna ahead proved to be a big factor in their success for the game. Hecarim, no joke either, did quite a bit in the early game to make sure that the Orianna and the Jinx were very far ahead to win those team fights in the late game.
Yeah, that Vygar damage not as high as you'd like to see from your burst mage like Vygar, but with the situation he was dealt, not exactly the greatest of cards to scale and deal damage.
That MF, huge on the damage charts as well. Obviously put a lot of damage in with her bullet time and had 2 to 3 very good ultimates, which basically turned the entire fight. But ultimately, the Pyke was able to clean up on that last fight.